Hello guys, welcome to our channel Divine Truth Tarot. I wanted to come in today with a reading and just hopefully clarify some things for the collective. It's been a very challenging few weeks, and we've seen November be more challenging than even October, and October was extremely challenging. So I wanted to come in and clarify and just talk a little bit about the experiences, because they've been super intense, and many of us are in the void, the energetic celestial void, and this can be a scary place for the ego, for the personality who feels like it's dying, which it is. Right? Parts of ourselves are dying at this time, and the ego is also experiencing many deaths at this time. We are also hearkened back to 2017, and we are experiencing, or rather I should say re-experiencing emotions and going back to that emotional landscape of 2017 in our lives, which for many of us was not pleasant. Okay, it could have been you had a separation from your twin, or it could be totally untwin related. It could have been a karmic relationship, or a death of a family member, loss of a job. It could have been a number of things. And whatever happened was like the death of your former self and the beginning or birth of a new one. But it wasn't all roses. It was an uphill battle, and many of us have felt like, well, we've settled those karmic debts. We've healed those parts of ourselves, but now you're seeing them come up again in November, and you're going, what the hell? I healed that. I don't understand. Why am I being punished? Why is this happening? So I understand those feelings, and I've had many of them myself. I've talked to many of my divine feminine friends who are experiencing the exact same void, the exact same emotional responses to what is going on. And so I want you to know, guys, that I love you so much. I see you, and that you're never ever alone on this journey. So please do reach out on this channel. Please reach out to anyone that you trust. If you feel like you need to talk to a therapist, a counselor, psychiatrist, please do so at this time, or healer, whatever it is for you that you're being called to do. Take really good care of yourself. This is not the time to be focused on the external, okay? This is not the time to be focused on what the counterpart is doing. So as you'll notice, I'm not really doing a lot of readings right now, even though they're the ones most in demand, about the divine masculine, because I want to focus on growth, self-growth, and healing at this time for the divine feminine or the divine masculine watching. Okay, this is about individual growth. It's about individual... Charlie, what did you just do? Oh my gosh, he's here on the table. It's about individual growth. It's about really stepping into our sovereignty, because the density of the 3D, right? The matrix is collapsing. The density of the 3D is being felt pretty hardcore right now. And it's going to be released as we go into 2021. I feel like it's going to fall off in bits and pieces, or chunks rather. It just depends. Sometimes it'll feel like bits and pieces. Sometimes it's going to feel like a huge chunk is falling away. Some things may happen rapidly. Some things may happen slower. But in order to prepare for this collective shift, we're all shifting individually. So I hope that makes sense. I hope that's clarifying, and I hope that lets you guys know that you're not alone. As you noticed, I've been kind of absent on the channel in November, and the reason I explained in a post on the community tab on our page here last night, but the reasons are multifold, and the majority is I've been extremely lethargic, exhausted this month for the most part, especially in the mornings, and been having some really crazy astral experiences, dream experiences, and have felt very disconnected from my own connection. And so that's really forced me to this place of going deeper and deeper within. So I've been doing a lot of just appreciating the silence. It reminds me of that Depeche Mode song, right? appreciating the silence and sitting with myself and sitting with my thoughts, no matter how uncomfortable they are, and letting the feelings come and letting the feelings pass. So I wanted you guys to know that first and foremost before I even go into the cards. I may do a divine masculine check-in, but keep in mind that this will also be the energies. I won't do it in this reading, but this will also be the energies, if I do decide to do that this week, of your own inner divine masculine, which is of utmost importance right now. I just really want to get you guys to the place where you understand what needs to be done moving forward as we move really rapidly and swiftly here into the end of the year and into a brand new year in 2021. So I send you guys out so much love and light. We're going to be using the Secret of the Animals Oracle cards, the Elemental Oracle. I keep on wanting to call it the Energy Oracle, the Elemental Oracle. And I was called to use the Angel Wisdom Tarot. So I want to actually start with the tarot, and let's go ahead and give these cards a nice shuffle. Nice blessing. Archangels, please be present. Please create a sphere of protection around this reading for everyone watching, for myself, for Charlie, and for our energy fields. We ask that you deliver messages with clarity, with ease, with love and kindness, as the collective is going through a really challenging time at this present time. We ask that you provide us exactly what we need to know at this exact moment. So it's divine timing whenever you are watching this, whether it's today, the day of the filming, a month from now, a year from now. These are the messages that need to come through for you. And they will either resonate or they won't. And if they don't resonate, please only take what resonates and leave what doesn't. There's no need to try to force a square peg into a round hole. And we thank you for your presence here, archangels, higher self, my light team, my guides, especially the Syrians are around. The Syrians, Arcturians, and Andromedans are around really in my energy field at this present time. Dominant Syrian energy and presence trying to lighten the mood for us, but also the Andromedans and Arcturians. Very advanced celestial beings, all of them. So thank you for your presence. Okay, so let's find out what's going on here. I'm not going to take those two cards because I wasn't clear yet on the intention of shuffling, but let's go ahead and find out what is going on here as we progress to this Gemini lunar eclipse full moon next week. Yes, the Void, the Hermit. What else is going on with the collective, please? This one wants to come out. Queen of Pentacles. Okay. The Hermits. I don't know if there's a more fitting card right now for the energies. I guess Four of Swords would be pretty fitting as well. Okay, this idea of going back into that energetic void, this idea of becoming the hermit. And let's see what the card says. Yes, time spent in peaceful meditation and meaningful solitude. Shine your light as an example to others. Self-discovery. Yes, we are in this place. Everything I was just talking about for the first 5 minutes of this video, this is the space that we're in. This is the energetic void. And everyone, whether they're a twin flame, or not, or a light worker or not, everyone's feeling this energy. And move this closer to you guys. Everyone's feeling this. And whether they know what to call it or not, or they know why it's happening, that doesn't really matter. That's really inconsequential. What's important to understand is that this is what needs to happen. And so for many, it's left you feeling very disconnected, not only from your connection, but also from the world at large, and also from family and friends, and even from yourself. So that's very important to honor what is coming up and to understand it's a temporary feeling, that all feelings are temporary and all feelings serve a purpose, but they're really just energy. So if you can feel it and allow it to just be energy instead of being a permanent sensation in the body, okay, or in the mind, or a permanent experience, you're going to flow through this a lot easier. Do things that really honor yourself right now, which will be different for everyone. Some people will be dancing, some people will be resting, some people will be taking time off work, some people will be building a website. People will be doing different things at this time. But if you're in contact or communication with your divine counterpart and they've pulled away at this time, this is why. So I hope this gives you some clarification. And it's for the good, not only of your connection, it's for the good of the collective that they're doing this. This is exactly what everyone needs to be doing at this time, is pulling away and creating space for the changes to come in, okay? For things to fall away that are just, they've become really heavy for us to carry. Now we have the Queen of Pentacles coming in, and I do feel like this is, okay, they're telling me it's for the masculine energy, both within and without. Generous, practical, gracious, materialistic. Okay, a love of family and home, a sensible approach. So the masculines are currently, the masculine energy within and without is in this energy of practicality and they're trying to sort things out, as, you know, with everything crumbling. And many feminines have experienced this as well. Okay, the crumbling of things in your life over the past several years. You'll build something, it crumbles. You build something else, it crumbles. And what I wish to say about that is we're learning to let go. We're learning to let go and surrender more than we ever thought possible. So you build something up, you let it go. I built up a whole YouTube channel in 2017. I let it go at the end of 2019. I had 30,000 plus subscribers and counting, and it was no longer aligned. That was a tough decision because I had to start all the way from scratch in the beginning of this year, and I had to trust the process and trust the universe. And there were many, many nights that I lie awake and asking myself, is this the right decision? So ultimately the universe was making it for me, because the energy and environment on that channel had become very hostile and very negative. And so it really wasn't a question at that point. It was just, okay, this needs to be released. So the masculines are feeling, they're wanting to present to the feminine. There's still this element that needs to let go, this egoic element of, I need to be a certain way for her. I need to appear a certain way. I need to have X amount of money in order for the feminine to accept me. So it's really about them accepting themselves without all the attachments in the material world of money and cars and the house and, you know, just all of that stuff, just stuff and fluff. And because many of your masculines will be coming back in more humbled, and many of your masculines will be coming back in having had many ego deaths, having shed many skins, and the money that they had may not be there, especially if they've gone through a divorce, a separation, custody battle, you know, alimony, things like that, okay? Legal separation of any sort, with children involved or without. If there were assets, it could be that they just said, here, take the house, take this, take that, you know, take whatever, I don't care. And so there's going to be this sort of, they're going to be wondering, will he or she accept me as I am? They may feel broke and they may feel broke, okay? And that's what they're wondering at this time. Can we get more clarity on the Queen of Pentacles? The Wheel, okay. So this didn't actually flip out, but I was called and guided to take it. It did flip over in the deck, which has been happening a lot. So it's the Wheel, okay? The wheel turning, the karmic wheel turning, yes. Masculines wanting to clarify, masculine energy within and without, wanting to clarify that things are shifting rapidly. Things are shifting in their life, but things first have to shift out of their life. That's why many feminines walked away and created that space, because they said, you do not get to drink my nectar if you're still drinking from someone else's cup. I cannot offer you my cup if you are lapping the sweetness of someone else's cup, okay? And if someone else is offering you that and you're taking it, then I will retract my offer. And that's what the feminine did. And the masculine felt that very sharply, very intensely. And for many, the masculines, as I've stated, are still working through anger, upset, or even blame against the feminine for coming into their lives, creating this tornado of chaos, creating this tornado of change. And because they can try to convince themselves that everything was just hunky-dory and fine, then the feminine came in and everything changed and turned their world upside down. So many masculines are also working through the anger and the blame towards the feminine, which they're really going to realize isn't the outer feminine, it's the inner feminine that they need to contend with. It's the mother energy, the mother healing, the grandmother healing. They need to heal this anger they feel towards the feminine energy that exists within them. So they're going to realize they can't escape this. That I think a lot of the masculines thought, if I just blame him or her, okay, my divine feminine, whether they even know what that term means or not, but if I just blame that person, then it's going to go away. But then it didn't go away. And what happened was they ended up having to sit with the emotions. And they ended up being the ones feeling like they were rotting away, while the feminine was just off creating in 2020 and living and embodying the highest truth that he or she could. The masculine has been really feeling sorry for themselves the majority of 2020. And the feminine, by the way, has gone through periods like that as well in the past. So the feminine knows what that's like, okay? Sort of self-loathing and not a lot of self-love. And so the blame that the masculine energy has felt towards the feminine, both within and without, this could be an internal chaotic element within you or outside in the physical embodiment of the counterpart, is they're starting to realize that it's themselves they have to contend with, not you. And that's a huge, huge realization, guys. Huge, massive implications for shifts and change. So this card says a fresh start or the end of delays, sudden or unexpected progress, a very positive change, travel, or a new vehicle. Those are just some things that can happen. But yes, it's a fresh start. It's the ending of a cycle, the beginning of a new one. And this could be very sudden and unexpected. And this has been coming up a lot in other readings as well, where you're hearing that there's going to be an unexpected change, that something is just going to shift so rapidly, so quickly that it's like you won't even know what hit you inside of your connection. And I know many of you are going, yeah, okay, I'm not holding my breath. So again, it's about embodying that element of trust that many of us have, our faith, the faith that has been tested this year, monumentally tested. Masculine energy, wow, okay, I said I wasn't going to do a masculine reading, and now they're feeding me all of this energy for the masculines, okay? So we have the 9 of Wands, okay? Right about to complete. The 10 of Wands is completion. This is about protecting what has been created with passion. This is about the masculines protecting the connection. This is interesting. Coming off of the wheel, coming off of these energies, right? The Hermit, the shared energy with the divine feminine masculine, the Queen of Pentacles energy, and then the wheel. And then here we have the Wands energy, fire. So what this tells me is, this says never give up. And so the masculines are wanting the feminine to please stand your ground and please don't give up, because many feminines are at this place where they are giving up. And that can look like different things to different, to different people, okay, watching. But many feminines, a few of you have chosen soulmate connections, which is totally fine if that's what you're called to do. And many of you are just saying, I'm going my own way and I'm not going to, include the masculine in my plans. It's just me at this point. I'm sovereign. Many feminines, and it's not that you're doing this out of anger. It's that you're doing this out of, or even retaliation towards your masculine. It's that this is what you've been forced to do, that there's been no other choice, and it's really forced the feminine energy out of any codependency towards the masculine, or that romantic idealism of the white picket fence, and the perfect life and the marriage and this and that. So the feminines really had to become very strong this year and go her own way, his or her own way, knowing that the masculine may or may not be on the other side. And it's that uncertainty that compels the feminine to live her best life or his best life, because not knowing what's going to happen and knowing you have to plunge forward anyway, but not knowing it's one of the hardest things for the feminine energy to contend with, to balance. Is the feminine energy wants to know that you're going to be waiting, and the masculine has not given the feminine the green light. that I will be waiting. So it has to feel like it ends. For some of you, this will resonate. For some, this won't. It has to feel like there's a complete and total ending in the connection for there to be a rebirth. There has to be the complete ending of the way things were. Okay, we're feeling this individually, as I've talked about in our lives. Ego deaths, shadow, right? Shadow work, dark night. But feeling this inside of your connection where it's the end. It's the end of something. And I know I feel this very dynamically right now in my connection. It's the end of that cycle of the way things were. It feels very uncertain. And being in a total void space. And the 3D will show you nothing. The 3D will show you the exact opposite of the truth that you know in your heart to be true. The 3D is going to throw you all sorts of daggers and swords, and it's trying to confuse you. It's trying to create confusion. And it's asking, will you take the bait? Okay? So I just want to make that very clear, that if you're experiencing this, A, you're not alone, and B, this is how to contend with that energy. Be mindful, feminine, of becoming too much a warrior right now in your warrior mindset or spirit, that you don't leave a space for the masculine to come in when they're ready. We don't know when that will be. When, I don't know. If I knew that, I'd be a billionaire. Seven of Pentacles. So the feminine's just over here saying, you know, I planted the seeds, okay? I've been creating growth in my own life. I'm working on my creativity. I'm working on flowering my, or watering my own garden, watering my own flowers. I buy myself flowers. I take care of myself, self-love, okay? And there's the promise from the masculine that says these efforts will be rewarded at some time in the future, but we don't know when that sometime will be. Here's the dreaded P word: a need for patience, a time for testing, a time for resting. But then there was a reason, I think, why I just said testing, Freudian slip. It is a test. It's a test. Feminine, will you pass this test of patience? Not knowing, not being able to see the flowers. You're just, it's like I planted them. Now, are they going to grow? Are they going to sprout? Are they going to create more? What's going to come of this? You don't know. A time for resting and planning for the future. Unnecessary worry. Many feminines feeling very unnecessarily worried that the masculine is gone forever. And you know what, feminines? This might be an unpopular opinion, but I'm going to invite you, feminines, to actually bring yourself to that place of, what if my masculine never comes back? I would like to invite you to go to that place, because if that's your deepest fear, and I know it's one of mine and it's many of yours, if that's your deepest fear that the masculine's never coming back, how about we work on facing it together head on as a collective? How about we work on facing that so that we know that we will be okay regardless? There's that test here that says, I'm not showing you whether or not they're coming back or the garden is going to bloom. You're watering it, but I don't know. Are the sunflowers blooming, or are they just going to stay like little buds? We don't know. Well, I know those are roses, but I'm looking at sunflowers right now at my window. So we don't know, and we have to be okay with that. So maybe journal about that. Journal about that. The worst thing that can happen on one column, the best thing that could happen on another. The best thing that can happen, union. The worst thing that can happen, never hearing from them again. Okay, having to live this lifetime without your masculine. I think we need to feel that. I think we need to, and again, this may not resonate. It may not be for you. You might be triggered by this. That's okay. But maybe if you're triggered by it, ask yourself, why? Is there something I can gain from this? What can I do to be okay with the not knowing? What can I do to be okay with the fear? What can I do to be okay with saying, you know what? Maybe he comes back, maybe he doesn't. And it's out of my hands, it's out of my control. And all I can do is live my life for me. Feminines, living your life for you. I want to check in with union energy here. Okay. So we have the Five of Pentacles left out in the cold. That's my left out in the cold card. This feels harsh. It feels icy. Okay. So the union energy right now is that both twins are actually feeling left out in the cold by the other. Even if you've tried to reach out to your masculine and they've been the ones that you think are ignoring you, I feel like the masculines think the feminines have left them and the feminines think the masculines have left them. So there's a lot of mirroring going on. Both counterparts are feeling sad, especially as we approach the holidays here in the States. So anyone that celebrates Hanukkah, Christmas, Thanksgiving, Kwanzaa, New Year, anyone who celebrates any of these holidays, and if I've left out any, please excuse me, because we celebrate all cultures and religions on this channel. Those are the ones that I know of off the top of my head. If you're celebrating any holidays, period, this year, I want you to think about the fact that your masculine may be feeling just as sad, just as lonely, and just as confused as you. There's a lot of mirroring going on. And what neither of you realize is there's a guardian angel looking out for both of you and this connection. There we have animals showing up again, a kitty cat. Animals are showing up pretty strongly in my readings lately, animals and nature. So it may feel like it's over. And again, I think we're supposed to face this fear right now that if it's over, how will I live my life? What will I decide to do, if it is in fact over? And this is the ego mind playing tricks on us. It's just telling us a story. That story hasn't happened. That story hasn't played out. We don't know how it ends. And it's the fact that we don't know how it ends that scares us, right? That's what scares us into going into this egoic mindset of everything's lost. I think that's a Coldplay song, everything's lost. And we just think, well, I haven't heard from them in X amount of time. Another thing that the ego likes to do is the ego likes to say, well, if I don't hear from them by this time, or they don't leave the karmic by this point in time, then I'm leaving. But that doesn't work in this kind of a connection because it's not a traditional connection. It's a spiritual connection. It's on another plane. So it doesn't work to actually do that. That doesn't help push the connection forward. It may actually create a wedge or a block in the connection. And I know that's infuriating. I can just see some of you going, seriously, Sarah? But this is the way it works. And the longer I'm in this, and I've been in this now for, let's see, a year and a half in the physical that I've known my twin. But really, really in the depths of this journey as of 2016. And then even prior to that, I began my journey in 2001. Really, and I went through some really turbulent, rough patches in my 20s. And the masculines are having to do this at an accelerated rate, where the feminines have had, some of us, decades, or not even just decades. Some of you might be younger, so years. And now the masculines are having to learn all of this crash course in basically 1 year or 2 years. And we have to give them some credit. Okay, they're going through all of this so quickly. It's rapid ascension for the masculines. The feminines, we've been gradually ascending for many, many years. So it's just as hard on your masculine. Both of you are feeling like, I don't know, the other person's gone for good. They've left me. I'm in this all alone. We have the Page of Swords. So pages bring messages. It can definitely be lighthearted. It can definitely be a younger type of energy. It can be, this may mean that for some of you, I'm not promising communication for everyone, but for some of you, you may receive just a small token or a small message from your masculine, okay, leading up to this full moon on November 30th. If you don't come yelling at me. I don't make any promises with timing. I don't make any promises with when communication will happen or when union will happen. We're not supposed to know that. We're supposed to be in the dark, okay, especially right now. But this could definitely indicate messages coming through for some of you. And the butterfly is indicating transformation, a growth. This is the masculine saying, I am growing. But it is illogical because it's swords energy. It's the mind. So it does indicate there's some logic involved. And there might be like a bluntness. This might come across for some of you as, it's interesting, I see a lot of blue here. So I think throat chakra. I don't feel like this is not Page of Cups, okay? Or Page of Wands. This is going to be a rather dry message coming through for some of you, and some of you may have already received it, and you might be disappointed. Okay, it's going to be another test where you might be disappointed and go, is that all? That's all you've got to say after all this time? Or they might be asking you like for a favor, or asking you just something random, but they're opening the door and testing the waters. And that's what this is all about. It's not about coming into immediate reunion. This is about them testing the waters, like tiptoeing, saying, is it safe? So don't be hostile, feminines. If the conversation turns hostile, it's best to walk away. You don't have to have the last word. You don't need to tell them everything they did wrong. That's going to close the door again. And that's, we have a door open to union right now through April. You don't want that door to slam shut, okay? Try to just, if you need to, take some deep breaths, go take a walk, leave your phone at home, okay? Turn your phone off, whatever you need to do. Don't engage if it becomes combative. That will be a test that you will pass if you're able to walk away. I'm going to finish up here with the Elemental Oracle. I don't think I'm going to pull the Secret of the Animals just for the sake of time. So I may come back later on tonight and do another reading for you guys. Fluidity, outer core. Feminines we're asked to be very, I just heard versatile, but we're asked to be fluid. We're asked to be fluid. This means that things are changing rapidly right now, okay? The fluidity. Things are changing rapidly. Nothing is set in stone is what I just heard. Thank you for that message, guides. Nothing is set in stone, okay? So don't think that if you are on the receiving end of this message and it's like, oh, that was all business, that was just logic, and all they said was happy Thanksgiving, period. Another DF and I have this joke that the masculines, it's like they were given a handbook or a guidebook as to how to communicate during separation. And it's, hello, period. How are you? ? It's just very to the point, very blunt, and very logical and analytical. So try to, if you are on the receiving end of that blunt sort of logical message, guys, try to just have a little humor about it. Please try to just laugh. That's going to take you so much further, and just be like, you know what? Be loving. And if let's say they reach out, that you don't know what that might have taken for them to reach out. Feminines, I know, I can hear you saying, yeah, really just 2 words, happy Thanksgiving, or whatever that might be, or hello, or hi, after all this time. You don't know what that took for them to reach out. You don't know what they've been going through if you've been in separation. You have to trust, be fluid, feminines, be fluid, and be receptive, and just surrender and say thank you. Thank you, universe, for this message from my beloved. And watch as that gratitude splays out and ripples out in waves. But if you're like, oh, really? That's all I got was a, happy Thanksgiving or something, or a hello, this is bullshit, I'm not going to reply. Don't play those games, because you're playing those games with yourself. You're only hurting yourself. You block your twin, you're hurting yourself. You're blocking yourself. You're blocking union. Why would you want to do that? Keep the flow of energy. We want to keep it open at this time. It's important. The union portal is open. It opened on the new moon in Scorpio on November 15th. It's open through spring 2021. Guys, we have a long period here where things can shift very rapidly, and they will shift very rapidly. So let's say your twin texts you happy Thanksgiving and you're like, really? What the F? Really? I want you to step back. You don't need to respond right away. And I want you to reply authentically. Don't go tit for tat. Oh, well, they just said happy Thanksgiving. I'm just going to say happy Thanksgiving. That's mirroring at its finest. We've all done it. We've all been guilty of it, but not now. How about your twin texts you happy Thanksgiving and you say, whatever is authentic. Thank you so much. I'm so grateful to hear from you. I hope you have a wonderful day. Whatever that authenticity is for you, whatever you're feeling at that time. But if you're feeling like you're going to lash out of ego or anger, do not respond. And then respond when you feel like you can be more fluid, you can be more understanding, you can be more feminine. Charlie! Interesting. We have silence, snow. This would indicate wintertime, that there may be some silence, right, through the wintertime. There may be the perception of silence, the perception of nothing happening. We already know this. It's already happening for many of us. If you're seeing snow at this time in your surroundings or environment, I feel like this would be very applicable to you. This is also indicating that this is the time to go within. This is that hermit energy and the time to go within, the time to reflect, inner reflection, okay? The time to really, really go within. And we have power volcanoes coming up for the masculines. So the masculines really stepping into their power, stepping back into the heart space. The masculines have been disconnected from the heart for the majority of 2020. It's not that they don't care or stopped loving you. It's that they haven't had the capacity or the space in their lives or their mind or even necessarily their heart. Like, you're there, you're in their heart, but they haven't had the capacity to show you. They haven't had the capacity to bathe in their love for you, okay? To honor it, to acknowledge it. And so it sort of got pushed to the back burner, and many feminines felt this. And many feminines, you'll be working through your anger towards your masculine at this time for putting you on the back burner in 2020 because they had to tend to their 3D world and life. That's why I'm so adamant that if your masculine is in a karmic connection, that it's best to step away to create the space for them to grow, to create the space for them to separate from that person. If you're there and you're in one ear, the karmic person is in the other ear, there's no space for the masculine to make the decision for themselves that it's best that they leave that connection. You can't force your masculine to do it. If you try to force it, it's going to backfire. Trust me on this. I've experienced that. Very painful. If you try to set a timeline or you try to say, I'm doing this at this time, it backfires. Everything backfires. The only way to go in that situation, in my opinion, my humble opinion, is to step back and say, you know what? I'm honoring myself and loving myself here. I deserve more. I deserve to have the love that I give to others, okay? And if you're not receiving the time, the energy, okay, the space, the love, the devotion, the loyalty from your counterpart that you're giving, it's not equal, it's not balanced, it will create an imbalance within your connection. It will create an imbalance, which will lead to hostility, frustration, aggression, okay, anger, brokenheartedness. Step back, feminines, and evaluate. Evaluate. Am I getting what I need? Am I okay with this situation? Am I really okay with this situation? Because I think, honestly, if you have even an ounce of self-love, the answer is no, I'm not okay with this. This is not what I desire. This is not up to my standards. And you don't know how your masculine's going to react. Mine reacted with silence after I set that boundary. Silence and completely pulling away. And I said to myself, I don't regret that choice because I chose me. I still don't regret it to this day. 9 months later, I don't regret, because there's nothing more powerful in this life than choosing yourself. over and over and over, and knowing that you've got your own back, because now I trust myself. Now my inner child can trust the adult self to make the decisions that are going to be best for us, to protect us. And while it stung tremendously, because there was a part of me that hoped he would come running after me and he didn't, it forced me into deeper surrender. It forced me into deeper faith. It forced me into deeper self-love and releasing all ties to codependency. So you may or may not be ready to release your twin if they are still with a karmic, but I'm telling you, by holding on to them in the 3D physical, you may be actually delaying your union. So, food for thought, feminines. Let's get one last card here, and I'll close out this reading. I'll be working on personal readings today, guys. So if you haven't yet received your November personal reading, you will by November 30th, by next Monday. And many of you will receive your readings this week. I'm going to try to get through all of them this week. I have 15 left, so I will do my best. But if you don't receive it this week, you could receive it over the weekend or as late as Monday. And I am taking readings for December, limited readings. I already have 2 booked from previous clients, and I have 2 more emails I need to answer, and these are previous clients as well. So they will get, because I'm doing limited readings for December at this time, they will receive, the first come, first serve. But if you're interested, you can reach out to me. My email is listed below. Okay, guys, I know I took a break here and wasn't accepting new readings, but I needed to catch up, and I just needed to catch my breath. Well, hello, Charlie. Excuse you. Say hello to Sir Charles. He's not happy. He's not happy that I'm not giving him my full undivided attention. Wow, okay. We've got 3 cards, so I'm going to make this short because we're already at 42 and a half minutes here. But we've got Mystery Dark Matter. This came up, it has come up in readings, came up in personal readings. That was the theme last week, is the void. That's the void space I've been talking about. No need to go into more detail. I went into 5 minutes of it at the beginning, so if you missed the beginning, go back. And we've got here a passion, the soul. So this is, look, this is the twins going, recognize each other in the eyes, recognizing each other by the look, by the glance. This is about the soul connection that you see through the eyes. This is about the emotions, okay? The tears that have been shed while we have gone through this period of separation and longing. And then you have attraction, magnetism. Yes, there's a pull, there's a soul pull. So what I'm feeling like this, I'll leave you guys with this message. Very positive, powerful message, by the way, to end with, is that this mystery, this void that we've been in, is leading to the butterflies again, transformation, intense and deep transformation for both twins, for individuals, for the planet. And what's happening is it's actually magnetizing the twins back to each other, magnetizing the soul flames. Okay, it's magnetizing the true counterparts back to one another, and it's going to lead to union and reunion. So that has been your reading, guys. I send you guys so much love. And if you haven't, please check out some of my other readings. If you're new to the channel, just give Charlie a kiss. Send some love to Charlie. And please, please take care of each other at this time. If you see somebody commenting, and I'm not able to get to all the comments at this time, guys, if you see somebody, please lift one another up. Please support that person if you're able to hold space for that person. It's a really rough time right now. It's really scary to be in the void, and it brings up a lot of I don't want to say unfamiliar, but uncomfortable feelings that maybe we thought we had already healed. So I love you guys all so much. I see you. And we're in this together as always. I'm going to try to come back tonight for another reading, and I'll be more consistent here through this week. I hope to be. So I love you guys so much, and take care.